I lost my possessions, my money, like that. I was heavily invested at the time. A lot of my money was tied up. Yeah, I lost my relationships. I lost my relationship with my fiance, who I was supposed to marry, the following year. Yeah, I lost relationships with both my daughters, or at least I thought I did. And I actually felt like deleting myself because to build all that back up again is long. Like it took years to build that. Okay, okay, welcome back, Pell Cullen, back again. Okay. So sorry for not posting last week. Like I've been mad busy. I had a martial arts tournament on Saturday, which lasted all day practically, and I usually record on Saturdays. Like I would have recorded on the Friday, but I was out that night as well. So yeah, just no time in it. Now, I know I said that this week would be on the four emotions that can rule the heart and destroy relationships, but I'm going to talk about idolatry, also where hitting rock bottom could be the best thing that ever happens to you, and also talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like we're approaching, you know, the end of, no, not November, the end of November now. So yeah, just tie it up in it. So there's a few things I would like to clear up from the last video, which was on addiction first. Firstly, no, I do not have a child that I don't know about, and I did not force a girl to have an abortion. Okay, like I'm also pretty certain the child wasn't mine because the timelines didn't add up, like that. On top of that, we was back in contact with each other like 5 to 7 years down the line, and we were cool in it. Although again, one thing led to another, like that. So yeah, let's just clear that up in it. Like I don't have another child that I don't know about. I didn't force her to get an abortion. Yeah, we were cool the last time we spoke. Yeah. Secondly, there was nothing wrong with my main girl at the time. Like she was fire too in it, all natural, no makeup, hella pretty, but she was a Christian though, or at least trying to be. So I wasn't going to be putting it on her like that or trying to lead her into temptation. Now, obviously, if she wanted to, I wasn't gonna shut her down, like that. But as I said in the last video, tolerance is one of the signs of addiction, and you end up with this insatiable desire, like that. So you can have the baddest girl, but if you have an addiction, then she's never going to be enough. Like there was nothing wrong with my girl at all. Like the problem was simply me. And I know this to be true because I've been with more than a couple baddies and they've never been enough. Like if I didn't believe in soul ties and if corn wasn't so easily accessible or available, I would have probably stepped out on them too eventually. Like more time with an ex, like that. Like I said, sometimes I would be with a woman or want to nut to escape whatever negative thoughts I'm thinking or negative emotions I'm feeling at the time, innit? And if my girl's annoyed me or she stressed me out, I don't want to deal with her. Thirdly, and this is for any woman watching, like if your partner comes to you and actually tries to tell you he has an addiction, please listen and take it seriously. Because like, man don't really like talking or like asking for help like that as it is. At least I know that I don't. So if he's coming to you with an issue such as this, then please know that it's a serious issue for him and he's probably run out of options trying to deal with it himself. Yeah. And more time he's telling you because he wants to be a better man for you. That doesn't mean you should stick with him or continue to be in a relationship. Like you don't want to be an enabler, and I don't believe in dating potential. But he would be so loyal to you if you did help him because an addiction is like enslavement in it, and you can't free yourself. Like that. You actually do need help. You need support. Yeah, even if it's just you know messaging or giving him a call to say to check up on him. Yeah, then that could very well be enough, like that. Or even if he needs to just tell you, ring you and talk to you because he's craving at the time, like that, and he just wants to talk. Yeah. and you're the only person he can talk to or feels comfortable talking to, you don't even need to say nothing, like that. Just be there to let him ride it out. Now, onto the main portion, we're covering idolatry and security addictions. Okay, these are like hidden addictions. They're not your usual substance abuse, or non-substance abuse addictions. Yeah. So the monotheistic religions, such as your Christianity, your Judaism, Islam, all state that we can and should trust in God for our ultimate security in it. Jesus himself said that we shouldn't worry about possessions or practical needs for the future in his Sermon on the Mount. Now, we're meant to be free enough to really love God and one another, but true freedom can happen only if we completely trust in God's ultimate care for us, innit? But to really trust God, we need to relax our grip and ease our concern about all the lesser sources of security we have become attached to. The things that secure us tend to bind us down, and those that free us often feel like risks. Little in the external environment, little in the world supports really trusting in God. Like, we see bad things happen to good people all around. And many who don't understand the purpose of suffering have an issue with it and claim that, God's not trustworthy at all. On top of that, our culture communicates that truly putting oneself in God's hands is foolish. You understand? Even though, that's backwards, but that's our culture and that's the world. Even amongst professing Christians, or, I like to say disciples, I believe that word's better. Few of us, if any, are able to follow Jesus's call for complete trust in him. Yeah. I even find it difficult at times. I'm still learning to put my trust in him completely. Instead, we assume that trusting God is, let's say, right in theory, and it's a spiritual ideal, but it's impossible to apply in practice on a daily basis, given everything that, goes on in our lives. True spiritual freedom is deemed to be something that we can consider after we have established our physical and relational security in the world. Now, in our culture, the three gods we do trust for security are our possessions, power, and human relationships. To a greater or lesser extent, all of us worship this false trinity. And I've been a victim of this too, innit? Like, I used to say, Lord, once I've accomplished X and got P in the bank, then I'll commit to you fully, like that. Now, in the realm of possessions, we try to acquire and hold on to sufficient income and property. This is what we call financial security, and we hope it will eventually provide us and our children with freedom and peace of mind. But more often than not, the acquisition of money and possessions leads to less freedom and more worry. More money, more problems, like that. Now, in the area of power, we see status, influence, and control over our lives. Like, in part, this relates to financial security, but it also includes claiming and holding self-determination and autonomy in the face of the many forces around us. Yeah, the more personal power we have, the less vulnerable we feel. But although self-determining autonomy can free us from being oppressed by other people, we often tend to overdo it. Yeah, it easily becomes very egotistical and, very selfish as well. So instead of serving freedom, autonomy forces us to bow down before the idol of our own will, if that makes sense. In terms of human relationships, number 3, we try to secure them, both short-term affiliations and long-term bonds with other people. Yeah. Now, ideally, relationships are the vehicle through which we most directly love and are loved in return. Yeah. Relationships can also provide us with feelings of personal worth, value, and affirmation. But relationships can also dominate us too, innit? Like, we may become too dependent or too possessive. We may manipulate or be manipulated. Our sense of personal worth, goodness, or lovability may even become contingent on the approval of other people, like that. Like everyone in our culture seeks some kind of security within the realm of possessions, power, and relationships. And this leads me nicely into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. So Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs is one of the best known theories of motivation. So Maslow was interested in learning about what makes people happy and what they do to achieve that goal. His theory states that our actions are motivated by certain physiological and psychological needs that progress from basic to complex. Okay. Now, he believed that people have an inborn desire to be self actualized. Yeah. To be all they can be. Like you hear it all the time, like, be the best version of yourself. Like there's a whole self improvement movement that's been going on for years now. Yeah. But to achieve this ultimate goal, a number of more basic needs must be met first, and the need for food, safety, love, and self-esteem in it. Now, there are 5 different levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, starting at the lowest level, known as physiological needs. Okay, so your physiological needs includes those that are vital for survival, and these are things like food, water, breathing, yeah, maintaining homeostasis. Physiological needs can also include, shelter and clothing. Now, some try to include sex as a basic need, but you're not going to die from not having sex, like that. Like if you don't drink water, you will die. Yeah. If you don't eat, you will die. Yeah. If you don't breathe, you will definitely die. You're not going to die from not having sex, like that. It's not a basic need. Now, at the second level, the needs start to become a bit more complex. And at this level, the need for security and safety becomes primary. Now, at this level, people want control and order in their lives. Some of the basic security and safety needs include like financial security, health and wellness, safety against accidents and injury, and finding a job, saving money, obtaining health insurance and health care, and moving to a safer neighborhood are all examples of actions motivated by safety and security needs. Yeah. And together, the safety and psychological needs are often referred to as basic needs. Yeah. At the third level, the need for emotional relationships drives human behavior. Yeah, so your social needs include love, acceptance, and belonging, which are often found through friendships, romantic relationships, romantic attachments, family relationships, social groups, and community groups. Yeah, it said that it's important for people to feel loved and accepted by others to avoid loneliness and depression. And it's been reported recently that there is actually a loneliness epidemic in the UK. Now, at the fourth level is the need for appreciation and respect. Once the needs at the bottom 3 levels have been satisfied, the esteem needs begin to play a bigger role in motivating behavior. So, at this level, it becomes increasingly important to gain the respect and appreciation of others. Like, people have a need to accomplish things, then have their efforts recognized as well. And for many people, this will impact their self-esteem and personal worth. Yeah. People need to sense that they are valued by others and feel that they are making a contribution to the world too. Like that. People who are able to satisfy esteem needs by achieving good self-esteem and the recognition of others tend to feel confident in their abilities, innit? But on the flip side of that, those who lack self-esteem and the respect of others can feel inferior and useless. But together, the esteem and the social needs make up what is known as the psychological needs of the hierarchy. Now, at the top of the pyramid, at the very peak of this hierarchy, are the self-actualization needs. Now, self-actualizing people are tend to be self-aware, concerned with personal growth, less concerned with the opinions of others, and they're interested in fulfilling their potential. Yeah. So that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you can even analyze your own life and see these different needs in effect in it. Like you should also be able to recognize how this links back to this false trinity of possessions, power, and relationships that become idols and that we worship. Now, for me personally, I was at the stage of self actualization. I've been through, the rest of the pyramid. My basic needs, my psychological needs were all patterned. Like that. I was in self actualization mode. It's said that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. And I had so much stuff to fall back on. I had so much security. I had to lose it all, like that. Or I probably wouldn't know God as I do now, or be able to trust in Him as I do now. Like I had to be stripped of everything. Like in 2021, I lost my possessions, my money, like that. I was heavily invested at the time. A lot of my money was tied up. Yeah, I lost my relationships. I lost my relationship with my fiance, who I was supposed to marry, the following year. Yeah, I lost relationships with both my daughters, or at least I thought I did. And I actually felt like deleting myself because to build all that back up again is long. Like it took years to build that, like that. Like what Christ does is he flips the pyramid on its head. So self actualization is at the bottom of the pyramid. You want to know who you are in Christ. Yeah. And because Christ is eternal and cannot die, you cannot die if your life is hidden in Him. Like that. You won't feel like deleting yourself as you're on a firm foundation now. And He promises that everything will be added onto you if you seek His kingdom and His righteousness first, your basic needs and your psychological needs. And even if they are taken away, like everything was taken away from Job, you will still be able to affirm that God is good. Yeah. And probably even get it back tenfold. But anyway, that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. Like it's what, 1:30 in the morning. I'm super tired right now, but I should be back on the weekend, back to normal schedule at least. And yeah, I'll definitely do the video on the four emotions that can control the heart. Sorry, the four emotions that rule the heart and have the potential to destroy relationships. Yeah. Pal Cullen, stay blessed. I hope you all have a good week. Until next time.